Can see me and hear me, and we will get started. Why am I showing up so dark on the screen? Hopefully it's better. Uh, I know there's a lag. I'll give you guys a chance to hop on and let me know. I was gonna light that candle, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, we are live. I see it now. Awesome. Okay, so I had no idea that I'd be able to go on live today or not. I've been running around all day. My makeup probably looks like how my mom would say that the party's over, but here we are. I've been wanting to talk about this topic that has been on my heart for a really long time because it's really impacted my journey and at the levels that I've been able to grow, expand, and play. And I also wanted this to be sort of like a shop with me since today is literally the last few hours now left for the sign up for Chords and Contracts, which is my 6 month group coaching program. Oh my God, we have so many wonderful high level women that have signed up, like really, really high caliber women that have signed up for that. And I'm super excited to have you guys sort of in this like really intimate, tight container for the next 6 months. So much is going to happen. I know because I have really, 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 really big plans for my own ascension. And when I can hold that space in this like tight container, it's like magic. Okay. So here's what I want to say. Grids are, as we've been talking about in the last, three trainings that I did, the Lakshmi trainings, grids are essential, but they're also quite dangerous. And how they're dangerous is if you are in obviously the wrong grid, if you are tied in, tapped in, plugged into a grid that is no longer meant for you or was never meant for you, it is going to keep you so small. It is going to keep you so stuck. It is going to keep you so limited because it's like that becomes your world, that becomes your reality. And as you expand, you're going to have to keep unplugging from old grids and plugging into new grids. One of the things that has happened on my journey, and I remember I used to get really into like almost like self-aware Barbie, but even like slightly basic babe even moments because of this, is I would go into complete like bitching mode over this, that I as you get closer and closer to the top 1%, like when you're in the top 10% and the top 5% and as you get closer, you're going to have less and less and less grids available to plug into. Any grids that you find will be you're going to plug in, you're going to be like, this is so basic, this is so babyish, like are they seriously still talking about this, right? And I'm not talking about like turning off your brain accidentally by saying I already know this, which is something that the self-aware Barbie does, but literally, like I'll give you examples. So many times I have signed up with like really, really expensive coaching containers myself, thinking, okay, this is a really expensive container. So of course it's going to be, this woman's going to be next level, to find out that she was still teaching at a level that was very basic for me, for where I was at, right? But when I have somehow in those tiny pockets found even one person that was ahead of me, I can't tell you how much magic has come into my life. Like I was telling my best friend yesterday, we were having a lunch date, and I told her it's like being in an elevator on the first floor and seeing someone that is so far beyond what you even thought was possible, and then someone presses the 100 level on the elevator, and you all of a sudden you get off on the 100 level. Like I've had those experiences enough times in my life to know the value of them. And everyone keeps talking about, find a community, find a community, find a community. But I think people don't go into the details of why this is important. I can't tell you right now in my life, and I'm so blessed that I have a best friend that like I can discuss these things with, because for a long time I didn't. When you are in survival, you're gonna have plenty of people around you to talk about all the things, okay? You're gonna have people that are living paycheck to paycheck that you can discuss that with. You're going to have people around you that you can talk about saving money and having an emergency fund. There's going to be people around you that you can talk about the news or all the things that are going wrong in the world and how you feel very unmotivated. There's going to be because you are just like everyone else. You are in the norm, okay? So you can have plenty of grids to plug into. But when you are like really thriving and successful and you want to dial it up a notch because at that level you're not looking for surviving anymore, like you're already living a blissful experience. What you're doing at that level is you're like dialing in things like a little bit more luxury here, a little bit more depth here. So you're making what is already really really divine and beautiful and taking it up a notch, right? At that level, people are not going to be able to relate to you because anything that comes out of your mouth will be like, "Well, what do you got? Why are you complaining?" It's like, "No, I'm not complaining. I want to dial this up." Why? You have everything made for you. You're making so much money. You already are in a romantic relationship. You already travel first class. Like, why would you? Because that's how I got here, by being continuously tapped into growth and expansion. But everyone else is not going to understand this because they're still in survival. They're still trying to make ends meet. They're still trying to like do the basic things of surviving. So when you try to plug into any of those grids, even people that you think are doing like somewhat well, they're not going to understand why you have everything and yet you still want to grow. They're not going to understand why you already from their standard are like so much like in the top, whatever, 10%, 5%. And why on earth would you still want to keep learning and growing? Because they don't understand that that's the thing that actually got you here. That's the thing that your soul came here to do. What all of our souls came here to grow into more life, right? And so my best friend and I were like really talking about this, and we were both like, thank God that we have each other now, that we can talk about dialing in these little tweaks, and we're not seeing it as complaining. We're not seeing it as being uncontent. Like we understand that both of us are like blissfully happy, but we also want to learn more and we also want to grow and we want even more luxury and we want even more connection and we want to help even more people. And so this is where if you are in that level, and I see this all the time with my own students and clients. A lot of my students and clients that have been doing work with me for a really long time end up in the top 10% earners, top 5% earners in lifestyle and don't know it. So if you do this assignment after this live stream, don't do it now, but don't leave, but do this afterwards. If you Google uh what are the top 10%, 5%, 1% income and lifestyle, you'll start seeing that actually it's not that much. Okay, especially for my community. A lot of the women that I work with are earning 250, 300, 400, $500,000 a year. I have clients that are earning 100,000, 200,000, $300,000 a month. I have clients that are earning even millions a month, right? So but they don't know this a lot of times that they're in the top 10%, 5%, 1%. Why don't they know this? I was like, how come they didn't know this? It's because the feedback that they're getting because of the grids that they're plugged into doesn't even make them realize that what they have is really really amazing and brilliant, because they often have to like numb that part of them down to even plug into some of these grids. So when I point this out to them, when I actually sit down with them and I'm like, let's Google this and let's look at the stats and the numbers, a lot of these women are like, oh my God, I had no idea that I have the top 5% income and lifestyle. I had no idea that I had the top 10% income and lifestyle. I'm like, you do. And a lot of them are so stunned and shocked during that call that they often email me later saying, that was life changing and activating. And then my next question is, have you ever wondered why you didn't know this? So I have experienced this too, where I go into normal people's grids. And if I talk about the kind of problems that I have, they cannot relate to it. Like you guys have all, for those of you guys that follow me on my other channel, on my Million Dollar Babes channel, you've heard me complaining and ranting how Chanel won't let me buy more than a certain number of bags a month, right? Because they think something, some hanky panky is going on. They have this like rule where you can only buy like a certain number of bags a month because I don't know. I guess they had people that were like personal shoppers buying more and like reselling them. I don't know. So literally, like I've had to create, like my husband's had to create another account. Like we have all these other accounts in other people's names so we can buy more bags. If I talk about that, most people cannot relate to that, right? Like they can't. But these little itty bitty things, what if I told you that these little portals are the reason that I'm successful? Because each of these things is a portal in my life. Each of these little elevated problems are actually huge ascensions. But most people will think, I had a comment the other day on my YouTube channel. Someone was like, this woman is so disconnected from reality. Yes, yes. I made a decision that I would be disconnected from everyone's reality so that I could be wealthy, happy, healthy, in love, and like live my bliss life. Every single successful person that I know, and I live in a very, very, very wealthy part of Houston, like with multimillionaires in my just in my little community alone, all of them are disconnected but from reality. All of them. I'm so glad that we moved here because until we moved here, we were like the wealthiest people in every circle we were going in. And when we moved here, it was like, whoa, there's wealthier people around us now. Great. That is a huge expansion. And what I started noticing is that they were even more disconnected from reality than I used to be. So when you are a top 10%, 5%, 1% woman, you need to find these little pockets of small grids, even if it's just one other woman, one other person that you can have to discuss these little elevated tweaks, these little elevated dial ins, these little elevated problems. Chanel won't let me buy too many bags. Okay. Like problems like that. Okay. Or, oh my God, I was on a flight to, when I was going to Hawaii, I ended up sitting next to someone. This was in first class who flies first class literally like every week. So just to give you an example, he was flying to Hawaii for one day to fly to Japan for one day and then fly back to Hawaii and then fly back to New York, where he was from. And I was like, why are you only going to Hawaii for one day? And he said, the ticket for like first class ticket was like half the price from Hawaii. So I'm like, I'm just going to go see some friends. So this guy travels a lot. Okay. So, anyways, he spent the entire first class 8.5 hour flight complaining about like really interesting things that I didn't know I was supposed to complain about. And that 8.5 hour flight was a game changer for me. Like I got off that flight, I feel like richer and like wealthier because of this person sitting next to me. Hearing this person complain about things that I didn't even know I'm supposed to be like looking out for expanded my world. Like I literally got off that flight and he was like, let me walk you to where's your car? Like let me so like I got off that flight and I was like waiting for him to leave so I can call my husband and be like, oh my God, I just learned like 100 tweaks for like things we can do for travel, right? But if that guy didn't show up and sit next to me and bitch and complain for 8.5 hours about all of these luxury things, I wouldn't even know that they existed. I didn't even know that when I get on a first class flight, I'm supposed to immediately ask for a gel pillow. I'm like, there's gel pillows? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm just happy with this like pillow that they give me. And he's like, no, 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 that's not the pillow you want. He's like, hold on. And he presses the button and gets the lady to come over. And he's like, me and my friend over here will take the gel pillows. So I'm just giving you an example of some of the things, right? So you need those type of people in your life. especially when you're in the top. Because another example, this is a funny one, but my best friend yesterday was telling me about how she wanted to get Terry, I'm sharing your story, babe. I'm sure you're not gonna mind, but I'm just sharing it. Okay. So Terry was like, she wanted to get these live, like beautiful, like house plants. And but Terry travels a lot. And she was like, oh, I don't know, like I'm gonna have to lug them up, and then I'm gonna probably kill them because I travel so much. And then she remembered that there's a service where you hire these people to come and bring you the plants, and then they water them and take care of them, and if they die, they just replace them every month for you. And so just hearing Terry talk about this, I was like, "Oh my God, there's a service." Of course there is. And then I was like, well, what other services out there that I don't even know about? Okay. Why are these things important? Because each of these things are portals of expansion for wealth. But yes, most people cannot relate to this stuff. I have like 1,000 of these little portal stories that if I shared them on YouTube, I'm gonna get butchered by people saying, like, these are first world problems, or these are like, whatever, right? But the thing is, each of these things has expanded my life beyond anything I can tell you. Each of these single tips are worth millions of dollars. They're worth millions and millions of dollars of portal ascension. But you can't even go and share this stuff with people because they're still in survival. So if you are that top woman and you're plugged into the survival grids, you're keeping yourself in survival. Okay. Let me share one that is going to blow your mind. I can't tell you how many of my clients I've helped stop doing this. So a lot of my clients, like myself, started very humble beginnings, right? Like a lot of my students and clients that are now in the top 10%, 5%, 1% started off either really poor or in abusive, family situations or whatever. Like they've had hard lives and they have worked their behinds off to get themselves out of that situation. And now they have amazing businesses and careers and these amazing lives. And one thing I started noticing, and I picked this up right away because my mom had a habit of doing this. I noticed that a lot of these women could afford to pay for stuff just like right away, like they could afford to pay for it in full, but a lot of them were still choosing payment plans. And I noticed this not just, with them choosing payment plans with me, but they would mention like that they chose, they put that on a payment plan. And I brought this up with a couple students at first, with a couple clients, private clients. I said, hey, you make this much money, you live this kind of a lifestyle. Why are you choosing to put this in a payment plan? And a lot of them were like, well, I don't know. I've always just done it that way. And I said, okay, how does it make you feel to put it on a payment plan? And then they had to but like kind of like lean back, journal a little bit. A lot of them had to say, some of them knew right away. Some of them were like, I don't know. Let me like think about it. And they came back and almost all of the time when they really thought about it, it didn't feel good. It actually made them feel not as abundant as they really were. It made them feel stuck. It made them feel like they didn't really have enough. So I had them do an experiment. I said the next thing that you buy that where you want to put it on a payment plan, don't. Don't put it on a payment plan. Pay for it in full because you can. Like I'm talking in the with the caliber of women that obviously can. I said don't do it. And I can't tell you how many ascensions these women had because they came back and they were like, "Oh my God." Like something activated in them when they put down that card or put down whatever, like that cash amount or whatever, and they said, "I would like to pay for this in full." That became a huge portal. It was like that part of them that was still attached to that old story of paying in installments suddenly shifted. And of course, there is a time in everyone's life where you need to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I paid for Northwestern University on student loans and private loans and all kinds of things, right? No regrets whatsoever. But when I let that part of me go, more money showed up. So much more money showed up because remember that money is simply responding. Everything in our life is responding to our energy and our frequency. So that's just one of thousands of examples that I can literally give you guys. But the thing is that a lot of these women were plugged into grids that were not meant for them anymore. It was not meant for their level. And every single time I've bitched and complained about like, let me give you an example. Recently, it's been happening again, okay? Where any book I read, any YouTube video that gets suggested to me, any podcast, it's just like I'm like, "This is kindergarten level, I'm over here." Like, it's like done that, been there. Are people still complaining about this? Is this a thing? Like, been there, but, like, that's not an issue for me anymore, like, I've outgrown that, right? And every single time this starts happening to me, it's always a call from the divine for me to create the next level, because even the people that are at the next level, they are still catering to what level is most readily available, which is basic babes and lower level self-aware Barbies. That's the most common level. So most people are talking to them, marketing to them. Like those are the levels of most of the grids. But if you can find those little pockets, even if it's just one friend that has the same kind of issues and problems that you have, and they're on the same wavelength of where they're going, oh my god, it is going to blow your world. That is going to be such a huge wormhole for you. So, you know who you are, okay? I've got many of these women in my containers that you keep ending up in the wrong grids, and then you start behaving and acting like those people, even though that is not your level. That is actually what prompted me to create the Chords and Contracts course. Because 'cause I'm like, I have this hunger to be able to talk about these really high level portals without, like, people being like, "Well, she's so disconnected from reality." Yeah, so is every wealthy person, okay? That's what it takes. Disconnecting from, like, everyday normal reality is actually a requirement. It is a requirement to creating and building and keeping wealth. It is actually a requirement to be able to help people. That is one of the things I notice in basically all of the charitable organizations that I've been involved in is that the people that donate the most money to help the most people are disconnected from reality. Because if they plug into the reality, they can't actually help too many people. They start coming down, their vibration comes down, their frequency lowers. So it is a essential requirement for you to disconnect from reality if you want to be successful. And find those people that have that same level where you can discuss those next level things. So speaking of chords and contracts, by the way, we literally have oh Heaney, you're here. I wasn't sure if the time zone was gonna work out for you right now. Uh, Mina, this topic is totally a divine nudge for me. A portal has been staring at me. Yay. Yes, even Team Universe grew, right? Like all of us are constantly like, are we still plugged into the right grids? Because when you plug into the wrong grids, because of the morphogenetic field of that grid, you will start behaving and thinking like them. So for example, women in my world, in my clients that are earning 300, 400, $500,000 a year have no business doing payment plans, but they're plugged into certain grids that are making them think that they need to be safe with money. But what if payment plans are actually helping you not feel safe? Because I know that once I stopped doing payment plans, there was a huge portal that opened up for me because I was leaving that part of me behind, that identity that still needed to do that because it didn't. And when I stopped, that identity shifted, and then I never had to do that. And so these are the portals that I want you to be ready to take. So chords and contracts, it's literally closing. Let me check. Haney, can you check? There's a timer on the sales page. It's literally about to close the cart. If this is calling out to you, if this is the grid for you, if this is the portal that will blow your world and just completely rewire everything in it, like completely change paradigms for you, completely change the timeline that you're in, then you need to be in it and you need to stop second guessing because look at most of the grids. It's the same old stuff. They're all stuck, they're all in survival, they're all demotivated, right? Like they're all self-sabotaging. It's the same old stuff. You don't belong there anymore. You don't. Because if you go there, even though you don't belong there, you will start playing out the same damn loops that everyone else in that field is playing out. And you have no business doing that anymore. Okay? You stopped doing that decades ago. So excited for Chords and Contracts. Hi, Jenny. So excited to have you. Hi, hello everyone. So one of the things I was asking myself was, well, if you're complaining that no one is catering to the top 1% woman or the top 5% woman, how come you're not catering to it? So I journaled on this. And some of the things that came back, I'm like, "Oh, that's why no one else is doing it either." I was like, "Well, most of the people will think that I'm disconnected from reality, that they can't relate to me, that blah blah that's not most people's reality." And then I'm like, "That's what everyone else is thinking." And so everyone else is neglecting the top percenters, and because of that, we're keeping everyone else small. Because remember that one of the basic principles, the foundational principles of the morphogenetic field says that if one person in the field learns to do something new, expands themselves, expands that frequency, it raises the frequency for the entire group. It makes that frequency available. So it's again the 4 minute mile thing, right? So if no one could run a 4 minute mile and then one person does it, that option now is available for everyone in that field, and now more people do it. So if all of us are thinking, well, most people are not ready for this information, most people are going to think I've disconnected from reality, let me just keep my mouth shut and keep talking to the basic babes or the self-aware Barbies, then we're keeping everyone small. And then the problem, it becomes a bigger problem because the few people that do make it to the top get stuck there because they don't have anyone else to discuss these little itty bitty fine tuning portals, these like little grids, these little like things that we tweak that expands us even more and helps the entire collective rise. So then as I was journaling about this, I'm like, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to raise everyone else's frequency by going to the top and then talking about the top and letting the people that choose to get it and choose to strive for that and choose to do their inner work and meet me there, meet me there. And I know that in my own community, there's so many women that are like wanting to have these deep conversations now. I agree, Mina. Most of the content I've been watching or listening to besides yours doesn't feel expansive. It's for me, thank you, by the way. I feel the same way. This is what I do. I go into convincing myself, oh, that's okay. It's a refresher. Everyone could use a reminder. It's like, and then I'm like, why are you making excuses for the fact that a lot of the content out there is not geared towards the top 1%, 2%, 3% woman? It's not. Why are you making excuses for that, Mina? But because that's what's available. That is literally what's available. So this is also a shop with me. So if you have any questions about chords and contracts or any other courses, ask. This is the time to ask. I just wanted to come hang out with you. I don't even know I would make it. I'm doing like loads of laundry right now because before my housekeeper comes tomorrow. So I'm like, let me just throw in a load and hop on. Chords and contracts was my portal, and I'm already shifting. And it's already shifting me. So excited. Hi, Natlia. I'm so excited to have you guys. So with chords and contracts, it is a 6-month container with me. And there is an optional Facebook group. I believe about half of the people have joined the Facebook group already, and it's optional. Some people don't like Facebook, totally okay. Some people learn better just privately. So everything will be taught live on Zoom and recorded and then available in the course dashboard as it always is. So you have lifetime access. But if you want to pop in to Facebook and have the community aspect, you can. But anything we put on Facebook will also be available in the course dashboard. Obviously not like people's private posts and things like that, but any content I put out will also be available in the course dashboard. So if you hate Facebook for whatever reason, you don't have to join Facebook. We're not doing trainings in there or anything. Just kind of wanted to make that clear because I know some people don't like it. Okay. I have a question. Do you have any courses in money mantras that cost between 300 to 600 willing to invest? So I do what I do by the way. I would recommend the Law of Attraction Masterclass, which is $97, and it will give you everything you need to get that ball rolling for you for manifestation. Having said that, I also do a lot of flash sales for a lot of my courses to help those people that are just starting in a work or have done enough in a work where they're manifesting money now, but they still need a little bit, and plus, who doesn't like a sale, right? Like, I at this level sometimes still like to buy something on sale. And sometimes, by the way, side note, I'm getting sidetracked, but Hini, if you would give her the Law of Attraction Masterclass link. Here's another thing. Thank you for saying that. It reminded me of a story. There have been times where I have received an email that something that I wanted to buy was on sale. And for whatever reason, I missed the sale. I was busy with the kids or out of town or something, and I missed the sale. And I went on and I was like, damn it, I missed the sale, right? And I still bought the thing because I wanted the thing anyways at full price. And then I realized, this has happened to me so many times, that actually the portal for me was not to pay the sale price. In that moment, the portal for me was to pay the full price, and that's why I missed the sale price. Now, at other times, the portal for me has been to pay the sale price. So that's why portals are this moment to moment customized thing because it really depends on where you are and what frequency you're running and what your next level is. So there have been times where I have missed sales and paid like $1,000, $2,000 more for something, and then realized I actually needed to pay the higher price because it's not about that. Once you get to a certain level, you realize that whatever you spend, you get like 1,000 times back anyway. So it's not about the numbers, but it's about the frequencies that you run as you make those decisions. And those decisions actually expand you so much that the money is like, it's the least exciting thing in the whole game that you're playing of expansion. Oh, there's a super chat. I think I had missed an earlier one too. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me go find that one. Um, Hi, Queen. She said, called my mom to chat, ended up buying a flight to Mexico for 3 weeks, and my heart is still beating fast. Planning on going to Cancun for 2 days also. Travel grid. Hey, girl. Sounds like this was a big expansion for you from because of that heart beating thing. Something is going to shift massively, and I think it's already begun for you. So that is amazing. Have a safe and fun flight. Irene said, hi, Mina. I'm a student of yours. How would you recommend us being able to connect to people on higher levels? As I feel like I am leveling up through your courses and now second guessing my group. I know this happens. The reason it becomes harder and harder to find people, it's not impossible, but it's harder is because you will become more selective. Let me rephrase that. As you grow, you will be forced to become more selective because you will realize the impact of these grids on your energy, on your frequency, and as a result of that, on your health, on your love life, on your financial life, right? It impacts all of you. And as you realize the importance of it, you are going to become more selective. Now, we are human beings and we are social creatures, and we will have weak moments. I've had those too where I'm like, well, I don't have any friends at my level right now, so let me just go back to that old group or that old friend. And the minute I go back, it's like, oh my God, now I remember why I left. And now I remember that when I left, I became more successful and happier and healthier. But you will have those moments. A lot of my students find their forever friends in my coaching containers, in my in-person intensives. I have students that met each other in my courses, in my in-person intensive, CEO Boss Queen, a lot of my, and they are now each other's kids' godparents. They vacation together, they attend each other's weddings, they're bridesmaids. Like, so I know that in my group, long-term forever friendships are forming. But other than that, I would say the first thing is to hold the grid, to hold the pose of the grid that you're in. I used to like get desperate when I didn't have the friend circle that I have now and the kind of even clients that I have now so I can discuss the things that like just tug at my soul with. I used to have weak moments where I would go back to those older friendships and they are still talking about the thing they were talking about 8 years ago. They have the same problems. That's why I say, as you grow, elevate your problems. Okay. My biggest problem right now is that Chanel has put a limit on how many bags I can buy a month. Okay. My second biggest problem right now is that I have more ideas for courses than I think it's like rational to launch in a month. And I'm like, is it okay to launch like 8 things at the same time? I elevated my problems. Okay. 8 years ago, my problems were that person's talking about me, and that person said this to me at the party, and that person thinks I shouldn't be eating gluten free. So I have to convince her why I have to eat gluten free. Like bullshit like that. Okay. I elevated my problems through doing my inner work. And so, yes, you will have to keep having those high standards with your friendships. What course do you recommend for dismantling limiting beliefs around money and manifest financial abundance with the divine feminine and divine masculine for entrepreneurs, millionaires? The number one I recommend for all around limiting beliefs is Basic Babe Bundle. But if you want to like go a little zoomed in, Millionaires, which is a smaller play shop that belongs to my entire money course, which is like the holy grail. Um, but it, the Millionaires will give you enough of a taste, and there's a lot of content in there. But get that first, and then there's a code in there that you can use to upgrade to the full money course. Hi, Abby. Thank you for the super chat. She said, when I connect to a grid of fear, how do about a work promotion, how do I reconnect with my $1 million babe self? So baby, you are in cores and contracts, aren't you? Use the pre-work and collapse that grid. Use that entire process that I taught you in the pre-work. Collapse that grid and then replug, because you actually have a lot of friends that you have met and traveled with and shared hotel rooms with from my community, right? I know your real life friends now because they're my students. Disconnect from, collapse that grid, and immediately call up one of these women, or send them a Facebook chat or a text message and be like, hey, coming out for fresh air from that other grid, immediately plug into them. Like, be like, hey, I need a little dose of reality. And they will set you through. Like, this is literally what my best friend and I do. I'm like, babe, I'm having a moment. Snap me the fuck out of it. I watched something here. This happened. Like, do that for each other. Because it's gonna seem like there's less of us. Because it is. That's why we're the top 10%, 5%, 1%, right? Because there's literally less of us. So the few people that we do have, get tight with them. I feel like I woke up in a new reality this morning. Congratulations, babe. Good morning to you. Yes, use that from now on. Anyone that's in courts and contracts, I want you guys to use the information, the homework, the assignments, the embodiments I'm giving you make that the level that you're doing now. I know you have all of my other courses as well. You have the university bundle, but because you're in that group now, I want you to use that as your standard of inner work. How can I best prepare for your intensives? I want to bring my best self and be in an open and receptive mode. Self-care. So I want to actually put out this video. One of my projector clients and I were having this conversation about self-care while traveling. And that's something that I'm getting better at and better at and better at. And I want to make a video of that because every time I'm traveling as a projector, I'm teaching, even with my family. Oh my God, we have this year, 2020, we have 6 intensive, 3 we've done, 3 coming up, and I have tons of family travel. So I've had to very quickly collapse that story of like how projectors travel and how tired we get and all of that stuff, which is true. It's true. Our energetic centers can get really filled up. It's a whole truth. However, I've had to work through and dismantle that really quickly, really fast, still getting better at it, not perfect, getting better at it every time. And I will make that video because um, I have like a whole plan now, rituals that I do pre-travel, during travel, and post-travel to keep that to keep my frequency, to keep Mina Irfan's energy going. Because yes, I feel you, girl. So what I would say is creating a really nourishing and awesome and sexy and luxurious self-care plan. So you need like a pre, during, and post plan. How do we sign up for an in-person intensive? So if you go to my website and you go to the categories, there is a category called in-person intensives. And all 3 of the upcoming in-person intensives are listed there. I actually happen to have the link for the Maui intensive right here, so I'll throw that in the chat for you. And Hini, babe, if you're still there, if you would give them the St. Thomas, I think I can squeeze in literally one more person in St. Thomas, and that's it. We're actually at capacity already, but I've learned over doing this so many times that always oversell because at the last minute, sometimes there's a person or two that has to cancel or change to a next one because we're women, we have stuff going on. Like, I get it. But because of that, what I do now is I always oversell a little bit. So I can squeeze in one more person for St. Thomas. Um, for Dubai, we have 4 spots open, and then which means I'll probably sell like 6 spots just to buffer in case someone has to change to a different one. And then Maui, I still have spots open for that one. I just literally just started doing that. Maui is happening in August, by the way. So you need to get in that fast. That's like literally coming up. But yeah, we have categories on our website for all of our courses. So in-person intensives is its own category. Oh, thank you, Haney. I appreciate that, babe. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. One of the problems I have right now is that I can manifest a lot of money, but as soon as it shows up, things come up that make it go away. Bills, taxes, how can I shift this? Yes. So you need to do inner work around being able to have money. So there's 3 levels of money. There's being able to manifest money, like make it. There's being able to make more of it, like manifest it. So they're like the physical, like get a job, move your hands and feet, make money, masculine, right? Feminine, make more of it, grow it, compound it, invest it. And then the third one is keep it. And a lot of people that teach finances teach it as like one category. Money is not one category. It's really three different categories, and it requires three different sets of inner work. I have met people, I've talked about this so many times before. Of course, I would never say names, but I actually have worked with mentors myself, meaning they were coaching me. And I had hired them because they were making millions a month. And then I realized they were paycheck to paycheck. And I was shook to my core. I could not believe it because I'm like, how could you be making millions of dollars a month and be paycheck to paycheck? But then, as I was discussing this with my husband, I was like, how is this? He's like, because they don't know how to keep it, right? That part of the inner work. And it's like, oh my God, like we just assume that when people have lots of money, they just know how to keep it. Nope, you can lose a little bit of money and you can lose a lot of money. It's the same thing if you don't know how to keep it. And so when I talk about money and when I teach about money, I teach all three aspects. So you need to be able to run all three of those codes at the same time. Now, a lot of basic babes just want to manifest. They don't want to do the move the hands and feet part. So they're not ever going to be able to do the third part either. They're always just going to be able to be in the middle, which means they can manifest through someone else. It's always going to somehow show up, but it's never going to be something that they can have and hold on to because they don't know how to do the first step, which is move your hands and feet and actually create. So money needs to be taught in three different ways. This is so annoying because I can't keep this. Okay, I'm so annoyed. So I have this thing that's supposed to be launching tomorrow. I wanted to launch it yesterday. And I should have just listened to my gut. But my husband was like, "You're literally like in the middle of a launch with cords and contracts. Why would you launch this other thing?" And I was like, "Because that's just what I always do. I always just do whatever the fuck I want to do, right?" But for some reason, I listened to him over just doing what I wanted to do. And you guys are literally all like begging for it right now. And I'm like, should I tell them or keep it to myself? Okay. So, do you guys wanna hear about it? Because I'm supposed to be talking about chords and contracts right now, which is phenomenal. It's like multidimensional intergalactic inner work, but you guys keep talking about the other thing, which just shows you that I should just not ask anyone else and just do whatever my heart is says to do. I literally have the sales page prepared. I haven't activated it. So before I tell you, I'm gonna just run on Thinkific for a second. This is just freaking hilarious. Mina, always listen to your intuition. Okay, let me see if I'm gonna be able to log in. Okay, hold on. Let me start talking about it before but I just want to be able to give you the link. So, what has been really on my heart is two things, not just one thing. I launched the first thing already, which is chords and contracts. But the other thing I wanted a group of women that were in the top 5%, like 10% and up. So women that are making at least 150,000. So in order to be, let me backtrack. In order to be, I sent out this in the email yesterday. In order to be in the top 10%, if you're earning $178,000 or more, so if you're earning at least $175,000, you're in the top 10%. That's not a lot of money for my clients. My clients usually earn more than that. But when I tell them, they're like, "Wait, that's it? That's what takes the 10%?" Yes, in the US, the top 10% earners make $178,000, an average of $178,000. So I want the top 10% and higher women in this group called, it's like, you remember when I used to have the Babes Club? Well, I created this new thing. I was literally gonna launch it tomorrow, but you guys keep asking about it without even freaking knowing it. Stop it already. So now I have to talk about it now. So it's like not ready, but I'm just gonna open it up. This is just how I roll anyways. It's not ready, and as in this fact that I don't even know. No one proofread my sales page yet. I mean, you guys know how I roll. It's called the Money Grid. So it is a monthly membership. And what I wanted a group of women that are like just like boss bitches. Like we are just we are just like in it. Like we love money. We love luxury. We love expanding our container to like have more, be more. Like luxury just like turns us on, okay? Like tweaking the little things, getting the better bag, investing more money, like all of these things, like a little bit more luxury, just like gets us going. I wanted these women in a little group called the Money Grid, and the tagline literally says, let me see, did I open it up? Haney, I'm gonna just give you the link in the chat. Could you just like check this really quick? I'm such an idiot, like I'm just doing it. Okay, it's a monthly membership. I don't even have the timer on there yet. And what I wanna do is I wanna like get in this group and I wanna tell you all the things, okay? All the little hacks, and I wanna hear all of yours too. Like, remember how I told you that Terry told me about this plant service? I have like a million little things that little hacks, little money things that I did, these portals. And it's like you take one portal and take another one, take another one, take another one, and then you look back and you're like in a different planet than everyone else, and you're like, "Oh my God, all I did was like take these 4 doors, and I'm like in a completely different world." And those are the things that I want to talk about in there, like all of those things. Like let me give you an example. I had a little freak out moment when I was booking my my room. Now, you got like if you just look at my income level, I'm in the top 1% within the top 1%. I know this is it's crazy. I can't believe little old me, child of immigrant, grown up in poverty, yes, me. So in order to be in the top 1% in the United States, your income needs to be around $600,000 a year. I make more than that a month. So, yes, the top 1% within the 1%, right? And I had a container issue because everyone had container issues. So when I was booking my hotel for Maui, for my Maui intensive, I've stayed in some really nice hotel rooms, okay? The largest hotel room I've ever stayed in was like 4,000 square foot, and our home at the time was 4,000 square foot. So I was like, wow, right? But this room had a feature that I've never experienced before. And I literally like sat there. The woman's literally waiting for me. And I'm just like, she was like, "Did you want me to go ahead and book this room for you?" Okay. I had to like breathe into it. And the minute that I said yes, I became another person. There was something that shifted in me when I said, yes, this is the room that I'm going to stay in. And then my next question was, how can I make it where all the other girls that are coming to this intensive somehow come check out this room? Because they need to see this room, right? So things like that like you you can't talk about these things because imagine if I showed up at a family gathering and people there are like talking about like their car issues or like their job problem. And I'm like, by the way, I'm now staying in this kind of hotel room and like it's not relatable to most people. But what if having these kind of conversation actually expands the container for everyone? And actually makes you see how people at every level have container issues and people at every level have to like work through them and people at every level choose those portals to expand. So anyways, I'm going to properly announce this tomorrow, but if there's someone that seriously needs to be there, Hini, does that look good? By the way, I still need to put the countdown timer and all of that stuff, but I'm starting this group for me, for you, and for us. I really mean that because I need that too. I'm very lucky I have Terry and I have this beautiful community that I live in with the very wealthy people. But I want women that like get luxury and like get investing and like really want to fine tune their already exquisite and beautiful life. And they just want to keep fine tuning it and taking it up a notch. and like extracting the juices out of everything that's already so delicious in their life. Thank you, Haney. That's what I want. Because if you are a beginner level, this is not the group for you. There's so many groups for you. I have so many digital courses for you, right? You're going to be able to follow pretty much anyone and get something. But there is a level, the top 10% and higher, where there aren't that many groups because most people are still talking about emergency funds. They're still talking about how do I learn how to invest? They're not at the level that you can play the bigger game. We need more conversations like that. I would say that 150K a year should be the base requirement, like at least. Because what we're going to talk about is really going to expand your world, but you don't want to be in there going like, I can't even relate to any of this. What I want for the people in there to be like, whoa, okay, I want that. How can I do that? How fast can I do this? That's what I want for you. Because when I hear, like when I'm talking to Terry even, and Terry's like, that plant service, that instantly I'm like, what other services are out there that can like expand my life and be another portal for me, right? When I was on that first class trip with that guy talking about all of the little things to tweak first class, like I'm like, you can make first class better? Who knew that? He's like, yes. And he told me all of these tricks and tips, right? I'm like, whoa, those are the things that expand you because most people are not talking about that. They're talking about how to book the cheapest flight. They're not talking about how to elevate your first class trip to the next level. So those are the kind of conversations I want to have. The deep shit, the metaphysical, the physical, the like everything. I get it, Mina. It's normalizing luxury at every aspect of living. Yes. And you guys know, I started at the bottom and now I'm here, whatever that, I think that's a Drake song. But yeah, like do you guys remember? You guys have been, some of you guys have been following me for a long time. Do you remember when it was a huge luxury for me to throw out all of my, or donate all of my bed sheets and get all bamboo sheets? Like who remembers that? Like who are my OGs? Tell me in the comments right now if you remember where that was a big deal in my life, that we were all going to have bamboo sheets and we were all going to have silk pillows. Even the guests, like everyone in our house, right? So I have been doing this. Heaney said I do. So I have been doing this at every level. But I noticed that at a certain level, there weren't other people talking about it because at a certain it's like after I would say 150, $200,000 a year, they kind of like just drop you. You're too rich for everyone else. You're too wealthy. You're like you're too disconnected from reality, and people don't think that they can learn from you or God forbid teach you anything, right? So then everyone just drops you. But what if there is like a huge market for that? Like for example, Chanel doesn't cater to everyone. They can cater to a certain clientele, right? And so even uh what am I thinking of? Wedding planners, right? Like when Fawn's sister's daughter, so Irfan's niece got married. Irfan's sisters are very, 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 very wealthy, and when I went and saw the wedding team, like the wedding planners that they had hired, and the tiers that they had of help, and the way that they set up everything, I was like, this is not regular wedding planning, right? It was like the most luxurious celebrity wedding planner doing this high tier stuff. And I'm like, whoa, like who knew that there was a hierarchy? Like I didn't know this at that time. This was like 13 years ago exactly. 13 years ago, I didn't know that there was a hierarchy of wedding planners. That you wouldn't just go to an average wedding planner when you were wealthy, you went to the top of the top. Well, what if there are little hacks and tweaks and things at that level that you and I are still not tapping into? I know there's many that I'm still not tapped into because all of that is like sort of like hidden. It's not publicly discussed. It's not for everyone because most people are not at that level. So what if we created our own and learned and did those portals? And why is this important? Because every single time I've done it, every single time I've tweaked one of these dials, oh my God, it expanded everything else with me. Like it wasn't just that thing. It took everything else up with it. Okay. I love that you keep outgrowing every level and lead those who are here to follow. Yes, and Hini, that's been a hard decision because there was a point where I'm like, do I just seem more relatable and keep myself at that level at least on YouTube? But I'm like, am I really helping people? Because I think that's what a lot of creators do, a lot of content creators, is to be relatable. They keep themselves to a certain level, but that's just not who I am because like for example, I had decided I wasn't going to talk about the money grid today, but I can't like keep stuff to myself. I want to share it with the world. So to me, I can't be like two people. I can't be like the person that shows up on YouTube and talks about like relatable stuff and then this other life that I have. Like it has to be cohesive for me to be able to do this because otherwise I get unmotivated. Like it's not worth it to me. Someone said I remember the bamboo sheets. That was at some point in my life, that was a huge portal. Another one was when I made the decision that I was not going to wear costume jewelry anymore. I used to have these one pair of diamond look or alike earrings. They were like diamond look earrings from Nordstrom's. They were nice ones and they looked pretty real. And I would wear that every day. And I think I had did I have a necklace? I might, maybe not. And I didn't have any bracelets. And I was just like, this is just what I'm gonna wear every day. And then one day, and I used to just say, I'm not a jewelry person. I'm not a jewelry person. And then one day I was just like, what else can I upgrade that's just gonna really expand me? And I was like looking for something concrete. And then I was like putting on my earrings as I was getting ready. I'm like, this is it. Mina Irfan doesn't wear costume jewelry anymore. So I just like took off the earrings. I was like, no, she only buys real gold and diamonds, and like that's all she wears. And that decision expanded me and elevated me so much. And for a long time, I just bought like one, I just had the one pair of diamond earrings, one diamond necklace, and like my wedding ring, right? I didn't have anything else. But just that decision that we don't wear costume jewelry anymore. I gave away all my costume jewelry. That was such a huge portal. And it like literally activated a whole different container for me. Story time. This literally just happened today. So for a decade, I have been searching for the perfect tennis bracelet. And I have really, really tiny wrists. So I would go on to stores and I would try on tennis bracelets and they would never fit. And in my head, it never occurred to me that you can get tennis bracelets sized. Didn't know this. So for Mother's Day this year, Irfan got me this gorgeous, gorgeous tennis bracelet. And it was like literally I could wear it as a necklace. Like it was a size 7. It was like 7 inches, whatever, but it did not fit me. So I discovered through that I'm like, I have it. I want to wear it. And through that portal, I discovered this gorgeous jewelry store right near my house. They do custom jewelry. And so, anyways, I took the bracelet to them. I just got it back today. And they took out the extra links and they used the extra links to create these matching earrings. And just that's just kind of the portal that I'm telling you about. I was standing in their store today and a whole world opened up to me because I was like, wait, you guys repair, but you also make custom jewelry. And they're like, yes, we also make custom. I'm like, so I can just draw anything, doodle anything, show you a picture and you can make it. They're like, anything that you want, we can create it. So I can't tell you, standing in that store, wearing this bracelet, having the matching earrings. I also had this custom made. This was a necklace he gave me. I hated the chain. So I had them add a different chain that I like to it, like a custom made chain. So now I can actually wear it. And standing in there, I felt some kind of way. I was like, yes, I can have anything custom made, right? And I don't know what's gonna come with up what portal that's gonna lead me towards, because that was literally happened today, like literally 30 minutes before I hopped on. But I'm telling you right now, that is going to lead to some other big expansion in my life because all of these things are always connected. Probably tomorrow, the day after, something will show up, and I will remember standing in that jewelry store saying, I can have anything custom made. And that will be the answer and the solution to this other completely unrelated problem, so like issue, whatever, right? Roadblock. Take those portals. Keep fine tuning it, keep dialing it in, keep doing that inner work because we are literally not only raising the what's possible, the standards for the whole planet, but for our soul. Like literally this is your inner work to have and live more life, to help life expand. Like this just lights me up. It just this stuff just lights me up. I'm always like, "Ooh, what else can we dial in a little bit?" And I think most people think dialing in terms of something's wrong and broken because most people tend to live in survival, even if they don't need to be living that way. So when they hear fixing something, dial something up, they're like, "Oh, something must be wrong." Do you know that you could have a fabulous life? Fabulous life, all the money that you want, the health that you want, the relationship of your dreams, the kids of your dreams, the house of your dreams, the car of your dreams, a fabulous wardrobe, travel like celebrities, all of that, and the desire to keep growing. You can have all of that and be like, I'm still breathing. I still have more work to do here. What else can I dial in? What else can I be the next 4 minute mile for? What else can I help expand on this planet? But I think most people can't relate to that. I know my community can because we're into inner work. But most people are like, well, your life is perfect. Why would you want to change it? My life is perfect because I'm always growing. My life is exactly what it needs to be because I'm always creating it. But they don't get that. How? Inner work, girl. That's what we're always talking about on this channel. How is the inner work? I have a huge limiting belief with all of this. It feels very Marie Antoinette. I worry this is inviting the universe to humble you. It feels like it's making the world smaller, not better. I'm not sure what that it means. But if it's a limiting belief, I always go to the 6 step process and work through it. Um, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Thank you for modeling this to us, Mina. I believe it was possible, but had never seen it until I found you. Awesome, Rini. I'm so happy. I have chills, breakfast said. So inspired by this transmission. We are all in a powerful high vibrational vortex to be here with you, girl. Yes, all of us, including me, because we all need safe spaces to be able to have these discussions. Yes. Have you noticed that even when we do find those spaces, there's always those people that want to take energy back down, right? They go into like their own story or their own victimhood. So we're elevating the energy and it's like, but this, right? Do you know what I mean? This is like a huge, actually, energy zapping thing. I'm going to talk about this in courts and contracts because you need to look out for people that do this because this might be family members that are doing it. There is this energy kind of stealing thing that human beings naturally do. We all do it in different arenas. We all have ways of doing this, and we need to be aware of how we're doing it and how other people are doing it. So that I think is a problem because even when you try to create these like sacred places where you can give these really high vibrational transmissions, there's always those people that seep in because high vibration energy is really delicious and they want to bring it down. They want to take it down. Okay. So I'm getting better and better over the years of like ignoring them or looking over them and not like tapping into that. But one thing that I definitely want to do more and more of, or at least add that in, is do more members only live streams so that we can really like raise the level and go higher. I haven't been able to catch a live since before Miami. I'm excited to start tomorrow. Hey, babe. Oh my God, are you in Courts and Contracts, babe? I'm so happy to have you. I feel like I have missed you so much since Miami. I see you popping up on Insta here and there, but I know that you haven't been as active. So happy to have you. Yay! Excited for Courts and Contracts. Their nervous system physically cannot handle the vibration. Yes, so they have to take it down. And they actually steal some of it too, because they can have it a little twinge of it while they're in your presence. So they try to get what they can, but the only way they can make it palatable is to bring you down. Mina, I work at a luxury spa, and yes, those little tweaks for more pleasure is everything. Yes. I think we all know that pleasure helps expand us, but I think most people don't realize the gravity of it. It's not that I feel good in the moment, is that it raises the standards for all other areas of my life. And I want you to, I think the words even coming out of my mouth are not capturing the depth of what I'm saying. I want you to feel the depth of it. It literally activates all other areas of your life, is what I want you to hear and feel into. Allowing myself to receive pleasure has been the most life-changing concept for me. Yes, girl, yes. I think for all of us that started off as self-aware Barbies, we hear you, we feel you. One of the things that Terry and I were talking about at our lunch yesterday is that the more successful you are as a woman, the more unseen and unheard you feel. And we went into talking about this because this is so true. Because what happens is when you're doing really, really well, most people you're interacting with are not doing really, really well. And you can't show up in other people's fields when they're having problems with their cars or with their children or with their spouse or they're overwhelmed or they're unhealthy and be like, hey, I just made an extra $100,000 or I just bought a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Or I just upgraded my travel. There's going to be a disconnect. So because those people can't hold that space for you, you are always the one left holding space for everyone else. You're always like, oh, great. I'm so glad Johnny's doing better. I'm so glad that your communications are improving. And I'm sure it's going to get better. I'm so sorry you're overwhelmed. You find yourself doing that all the time. And you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it. But like you're never filled up again. Like no one can do it for you. Even I remember experiencing this so much in my life when I was in a really bad place for many, many years. You guys know my story, right? I wasn't born into wealthy families or a great life or any of that. So I was in a really bad spot for many years. Then my life started improving. I started doing my inner work. I started creating my reality. And all I had around me were family members and friends that were addicted to suffering. And I remember going through this period of my life where they would share with me their good news and I would be really happy for them and really excited for them. And then they would share with me their bad news or hard things and I would be there for them to console them and give them motivation and inspire them. I didn't have any bad things happening, or if I did, I didn't share them because I would journal and like work through them. So I couldn't share anything negative with them anymore. So we didn't have that to connect to. And if I ever shared anything good, they would get upset. They would literally, physically, like you could see them get upset. So I remember like this period where friends and family members would buy things and send me pictures. And I would be like, oh, that's amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. Enjoy it. If I send them a picture, they'd get mad. They would not be happy for me. They would say things like, isn't it nice? Must be nice. And so I started feeling this disconnect because I'm like, wait, what is going on here? We no longer are trauma bonding because I don't have any trauma to bond with anymore. I'm always holding space for them when they're in trauma, and I'm always celebrating their wins, but they don't have the capacity to celebrate my wins. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be the bigger pitch person. So I stopped sharing my wins. I would just hold space for their bad days, and I would hold space for their celebrations. But the disconnect and the feeling of being unseen, and I remember just going to my husband and saying, I feel like I literally have zero friends or family members at this point, other than him and my children, that I can share any bit of good news. And he's like, that's just how it is. He's like, people, when they're not doing well, they're not going to be happy for you. And so he was like, but you have us and you have YouTube. You can always go and share it on YouTube. There will always be women there celebrating you, and I will always celebrate you, and the kids will celebrate you. So I had to, for a long period of time, let that be enough. But then I realized, I'm like, what about the women that are like not married, don't have kids, and don't have a YouTube channel? Are they literally sitting there in isolation, holding space for everyone's celebration and everyone's down days and every day everyone's addiction to suffering, but they're not addicted to suffering anymore, and they can't, god forbid that they like share their wins when everyone else is suffering. So I'm like, oh my god, okay, I need to create that space. Do you guys remember many years ago when I started about like talking about celebrating yourself and like celebrating your own wins and like journaling about your wins? That's where that came from. Because I'm like, I need to talk about this because these successful women are the most loneliest because no one's celebrating them. But luckily now through my community, we found each other and we're celebrating each other. So that is the highest level that I hold in all of my group coaching, my in-person intensives. Celebrate each other. Okay? Celebrate. And if there's ever a woman, we had one person show up at an intensive that was maybe not ready to be at an in-person event with the caliber of women that I teach. And we had immediately had to call her out and be like, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay. So I have to hold that space because you want misery, girl, you can find it. There's plenty of it. But leave this space holy and sacred for those of us that are not doing that anymore. Because there's plenty of spaces to bitch and complain and moan and groan and talk about all the things that are bad with the world. There are like all the places to do that. But there aren't enough safe places for women that are thriving and doing fantastic to come and celebrate and let that be okay because we have to walk on eggshells for everyone else. This is another thing I was talking to Terry. I have to talk to you guys about it here. Oh my God, I just blanked out on it. What was the thing? Oh my God, yes. So in the last few months, I've been noticing that if I get like a YouTube, like a recommendation on my feed, and I click on it. So let me give you an example. I got a recommendation for like a food related video because I often watch food related videos, and I clicked on it, and this woman was talking about her food journey and the success that she's had, and then she paused and she goes into this long drawn disclaimer of like, if you are sensitive talking about food, click off. And if you're like this and this and this, if this triggers you, click off. And if you can look away. And I'm just like, what the fuck? We can't talk about food now and like losing weight and like celebrate that because people are gonna get triggered? Like, what? And then that same day, I'm watching a different video on a completely different topic, and the same thing. This guy is talking about something like amazing in his life, and then he pauses and he's like, if you're going through hard times, click off. What? So, what has happened now is we have a world full of basic babes that get triggered if you sneeze, get triggered if you lose weight, get triggered if you're happy, get triggered if you look good in your clothes, get triggered if you're anything amazing and fabulous. And so the rest of us are not allowed to share any of that. We have to walk on eggshells so that no one else is triggered. How does this help the planet? Remember what I said about the morphogenetic field and how when one person learns something, it impacts the consciousness of everyone else? What if all of us that are actually thriving, doing fantastic, happy in life, keep our mouth shut because God forbid we're going to trigger other people? What does that do for the entire morphogenetic field? Create more miserable, unhappy people that don't know how to dig themselves out of it. No, I refuse to do that. I am going to talk about all of the things that are fabulous because that is something that you have access to. We all have access to that. It's going to trigger you, yes. It used to trigger me so much when I was unhappy, and then there were people around me happy. And then I was like, what's different about them? How can I be them? What can I do? What can I learn from them? Yes, but it was triggering to be like, what am I doing that's different from them? So, yes, we need a safe place to be able to talk about all the things. And if people get triggered, they get triggered. Good. Maybe they'll learn something. Not the sneeze. Yes, Patricia, the sneeze. You know it, girl. That's what's happening right now. Everyone has to give a long, drawn out disclaimer because I was like, wait, you can't talk about food without giving a disclaimer now? Like, what? Anything else coming up? Questions? I'm gonna wrap this up. I probably have to throw that next load into the dryer. And then how long have you been live? I can't even tell. Has it been over an hour? Probably. Okay, so chords and contracts, literally the cart is closing in a few hours. The money grid, I will be back on probably not tomorrow. Oh my God, tomorrow is a crazy day. But um, I'm gonna put a timer on the money grid thing because that pre-launch price is going to expire soon. But now you know about it. I'm assembling the top-notch luxury, high vibe, money making people that like a good life and money and like health. Like you don't want just one thing. You want all of the things. If you want romance, if you love luxury, if you love money, if you like making it, having it, collecting it, growing it, you like dressing nice, you like eating delicious foods. If you like all of it, this is gonna be the vibe for you, for sure. All right, babes, let me see. Are any other questions? I made six figures last year, but same issue with keeping it. Should I wait to join the membership? Um, if you are making 150 or more, you're gonna get enough transmissions in there to be able to save it. Are you in chords and contracts? I don't know why your name seems familiar. If you're in chords and contracts, let me just tell you now, you're gonna have no problem saving money after that course. We're doing the inner work that we're doing in there. Let me know if you are, babe. Your name seems familiar to me. She said, yes, I am. You can join it. You don't have to. You are not gonna have that problem. In fact, there's women in chords and contracts that have the same problem as you, meaning they are very, very, very high earners, and they have issues saving at the level that they want to. So I am going to laser focus inner work on that. Like I'm gonna shoot you with like a laser of inner work in there. You're not gonna have that issue, I promise you, by the end of that course. It's you're gonna be like, I'm saving so much money, I don't know what to do with it. Yep. So you are good. But yes, if you wanted to join just because you wanted to, you could, but you don't have to. You will get that answer in there. Can this be combined income with hubby's income? Girl, hubby's income is always our income, but yes, yes, only if you also have income. If you don't know how to make your own money, this is not going to be a good container for you because there are codes that activate in a woman when she can also earn her own money, and you need those codes to be able to take the transmissions in the money grid. Amazing. I can't wait. Thank you so much. You have changed my life. Thank you, babe. I'm so happy to have you in there. And I'll connect you with some of the other women that are in similar situations as you because I feel like you guys could maybe do this inner work together. Awesome. Yes, that would be fabulous for you. The vibe of the money grid is very boss bitch, like luxury, just yeah, like boss bitch, but like also trophy. Trophy boss bitch, like all of it. Like women who don't like to choose, okay? Yeah, women who don't like to choose. Give you an example. So I have been wanting to get a jacket. Like I love blazers. And I have loved blazers since I was a little girl. And the type of body type that I have, I don't look good in most blazers. So I'm not like it's too much fabric, heavy fabric. Like I'm supposed to stay away from most blazers, but I love blazers. So I would like buy blazers and then they never look good on me, so I would never wear them and then I would end up donating them. Then I manifested my best friend Terry and she freaking lives in blazers and she has the body type that is supposed to like live in blazers. So I'm like, oh my God, God keeps putting blazers in front of my face. And I want a freaking blazer that's going to work for me. Anyways, randomly, I tried on all these other blazers. None of them worked. Randomly, I discovered this company. They kept blasting me on Facebook with ads. It just kept showing up. And I'm like, God, is that you? And it was all blazers, these like jackets. So even though most blazers do not and jackets do not work for me, I just took that leap of faith and I just ordered one. Oh my God. It came in and it was this one, but in black. And I'll put it on for you. So it came in and it fits me like a freaking glove. Like God was like, "Oh, you want a blazer that fits you like a glove and like matches your body type? Like here you go." And so I ordered one, and then I ordered two, and then I ordered three. Okay, I may or may not have seven now, and ordering more colors. And so now I have the blazer that I always wanted, and this one fits me like a glove and it matches my body type and it's like perfect. So I'm giving you this example because I am that girl that's like, I will take it in all the colors. So this blazer comes in like 50 different colors, probably more, and patterns. Who wants to guess if Mina is going to have all of them by the end of this year? Probably, yes. That's going to happen, right? That kind of a woman, that kind of a woman, okay? Where you don't like choosing. You don't believe that you have to choose. You believe that you decide, and then you get to have all of them in all the patterns and all the colors. Those are the women that need to be in the money grid. That's just the kind of woman. Like when the shoe fits, I get it in all the colors and all the patterns. I am on all the SA sales agents in Houston's VIP list because they know that she's going to get it in all the colors. Because why not? I shouldn't have to choose. I get to decide. Thank you, babe. I love it. I love, love, love it. Spoiler alert, I might have gotten some matching ones for Alina as well. We're going to be so cute, like mommy and me jackets. It's going to be so cute. Someone said you can have your blazers custom made. I did, and they turned out horrific. So I was like, God, find me one that's just perfect. And this is it. This is that one. I did have them custom made. That one didn't work out either. I feel like I needed Terry to show up in my life. And like, it was something that was like the portal that helped me find the right one. Thank you. Oh, no, if you're financially independent, girl, then yes. Yes. That's what we are. FI. I totally hear that language. Yeah. It's basically it's like such a weird it has to be cropped, it has to can't be too so I can't my body type can't do the double-breasted ones. I've bought those so many times, they've never worked because it's too much fabric for my delicate bone structure. So it has to be perfect. But the reason I shared that with you is an example of the type of woman that like gets to have it in all the colors. The kind of woman that gets to have it in all the areas of her life. Those are the women that I'm catering to. Like I'm just going to that level at this point because I've realized now that that's the neglected level. It's the level that most people are not teaching to because I don't know. It's like I guess it's easier to teach at the level that everyone's at and then ignore the ones where there's fewer people, but those are the people that need you the most. At least for me, I feel like those people are the ones that need me the most, and those are the people I enjoy teaching the most. Yes, when it fits you perfectly, you take that portal and buy all of them in your colors. Yes. I bought literally all of them in all of my colors. That's exactly what I did. Thank you, babes. All right, if you have any other questions about chords and contracts or the money grid, I'll hang out for another minute, but I literally have to go down and finish doing my laundry. All right, babes, I don't think there's any other questions. I love you guys. This was so much fun. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you tomorrow, early morning. We're going 10:30 a.m. Central Time in chords and contracts. Bye, everyone.